Hi, how you doing? And welcome back to the video. On the channel, we're going to take a preview of Game Week 14, as well as a review of Game Week 13, how my team did, and my thoughts moving forward. If you are new to the channel, please do like and subscribe. We are dangerously close to 100 subscribers, so if you can help us get over that milestone, that would be fantastic. And all the support on the channel so far has been really appreciated, so thank you for that. And let's get into the video. So we're going to start with my team from Game Week 13. And I was a bit apprehensive going into the game week, mainly because loads of my players were playing each other. We kind of did navigate through that okay. I did have a red arrow of about 7k, but it does mean I'm overall ranked still just outside the top 17k, which is absolutely brilliant, And I guess maybe I thought I was going to be a bit lower than that. And possibly now the point spread of FPL players is starting to be a little bit wider than what I thought. Now we're getting into the main bit of the season. So we did have returns from Onana, Saka, Salah, Watkins, and Haaland. I am a little bit concerned that Diaby and Matty Cash both subbed off at half time in the Villa game. They are going to be part of my transfer thoughts moving forward. There was one transfer that we made for the weekend, and it kind of summed up the weekend really in the fact that I took out Pedro Porro, who got an assist for Spurs, brought in Reece James, who got sent off for Chelsea, and had Lascelles on the bench, who scored against Chelsea. So sometimes you think you've got the move sorted and it's going to be absolutely fantastic, and FPL just says nope and slaps you in the face, and you're kind of left with -3 from Reece James. So I do feel for Reece James because he does get injured, but the sending off is just something extra that you just don't need. But I'm sure I've had a lot of luck in the season so far, so you've just got to take the negatives with the positives and move forward. So the fixtures for this game week do look pretty good, to be honest. There are some interesting games. It is a 3 o'clock start in Saturday, so there is no early kickoff. So you do have a bit more time for yourself for your FPL transfers if you want to make any. Arsenal at home to Wolves looks a pretty good fixture if you are thinking of captaining Saka. But for me, I usually do just captain Erling Haaland. And, I think if you were going to look at moving off Erling Haaland as your captain for this game week, it's a good opportunity to do so because Salah does play Fulham at home, and I think that is the obvious option if you weren't going to captain Haaland. Newcastle Man United is probably the standout game of the game week, as well as Man City Spurs. But I think it will be an interesting game week for a lot of players, as there is quite a varied amount of fixtures for your team. So my team going into game week 14 looks like this, and it's okay. It looks a lot better than it did, for last week's game. I have got two transfers that I can use, and I am thinking of using them. We're going to move on to that in a second, but I do like the look of this team over the next few game weeks. The Newcastle Man United game and the Man City Spurs game, they are playing each other, but there is less players at stake in those teams than, let's say, I had with Villa and Spurs, last week. And, the Villa game away at Bournemouth looks good, but Diaby is someone that I am thinking of taking out of my team. So the transfers I'm thinking of making is Diaby coming out. Villa's fixtures do look pretty mixed. I think they are kind of not on the best run of form really at the moment. They did beat Spurs, but the performance is a bit inconsistent in terms of Diaby's now his minutes as well as his production. Now, one option I'm thinking of getting in is Palmer. We talked about him last week. He's actually gone up 0.2 million since last week. So I do kind of want to make the move sooner rather than later if he's going to come in. But Chelsea give me question marks all the time as to whether they're actually worth it. I think if I was going to get someone in, it would be Palmer because we've talked about his great value moving forward, as well as their fixtures after the Man United game. And you could even argue that Brighton and Man United are maybe not the hardest fixtures in the world either, especially because one of them is at home. Now, the other option I've got is Anthony Gordon. Now, Newcastle's fixtures also look pretty good. You can argue they've got Spurs and Man United in there, but, both, like we said, Man United aren't great, and Spurs are hugely inconsistent and not on a good run of form right now. Newcastle's fixtures do look pretty good for the next 6 game weeks, and Gordon is someone that I could see myself getting in. He's also someone that's moving up in price. Now, big transfer thoughts really because I could get both Palmer and Gordon in. I can afford them. I've got zero point 0.1 million in the bank, lots of savings there. If I took out Diaby and Nakamba at 4.4 million, I could exactly afford Palmer and Gordon in my midfield, which would give me a bit of extra bench depth as well. So I think I am going to make that move. Maybe I've even made the move as you're watching this video, but let me know what you think, because if I am going to make the transfers, it needs to kind of be now because I've got no wiggle room in terms of pricing. But I think that will set me up a bit more securely in the midfield for the next few game weeks, especially in a busy Christmas time with loads of fixtures. I think there's something like 7 game weeks in December or from now till the end of December, which is loads. And I think if you have got a good one or two options on your bench, it does help combat that rotation risk, or if you get a few injuries over Christmas as well. So, yeah, let me know what you think. Thank you very much for listening. Hopefully, you had a good game week. Good luck in the next game week as well. And I will see you in the next one.